Hello everyone, welcome to Acoustic Paradiso here on Andertons TV. I am Ben and today I am talking to you about this, which is the ToneDexter Mark II. Now, I've got a bit of a confession to make. The people at Audio Sprockets sent me one of these quite a while ago and I didn't have a chance to look at it until recently. And when I did, it absolutely blew my mind. You may have heard me complain about the sound of piezo pickups and acoustic pickups in general over the years on this channel because on the whole, unless you spend quite a lot of money on a pickup system, to my ears, they're generally quite disappointing. And the ToneDexter is a box that can fix that. I don't know if you've been watching the channel for a while, you might remember a few years ago we did a video on the ToneDexter Mark I, which was good, and it nearly did the thing that I really wanted it to do. And the ToneDexter 2 has taken that and absolutely smashed it. Let me kind of tell you what it does and then I'll show you how it works quickly. You may have heard about impulse responses. It's, you know, particularly for electric guitars these days, it's a huge part of the market. And there's some really good electric guitar modeling stuff that's based on impulse responses. So you can have, you know, you can essentially have a digital model of your amp. This is the same thing for acoustic instruments, and what it will do, you take your, in this case, guitar with a pickup system, you plug it in here into the input, you plug a microphone into the back, and then in a second I'm going to go through the training session, but what it essentially does is it trains this unit to make your pickup sound more like a microphone. And then once you've done that, it's got a whole load of other options to use as well. I've used this a few times on gigs and it's been brilliant. When you've been doing demos for a long time, it's easy to get very cynical about things, but I'm genuinely excited about this. I think it's really good. So I'm just going to cut to the chase and show you what it does. So at the moment, here is my guitar sound. This is a rather lovely Gibson SJ200 standard, and this one is fitted with an LR Baggs Anthem pickup. You know, a good pickup. But it's still got that distinctive kind of piezo, quacky, high-end stuff that personally I'm not that keen on. So I've just done a complete factory reset on this. I'm going to show you how we train it. You press the mute button here, brings you into the tuner. Just by the by, the tuner you can have as a strobe, a bar or a meter, which is useful. If you press the boost button then, you enter training mode. Now you can see on here, we've got the microphone, which is here, and the instrument, which is here. I'm just going to play, and it's going to set the levels, and then it's going to start training to build what they call a wave map, which is the kind of file name that we use. So I'm just going to play for a while and see what happens. It will automatically adjust the levels. And you can see on the training window there, so now it's done that, it's taken a reading. During that stage, you can, if you plug headphones in, you can scroll between the input, the microphone and the wave map. You can EQ the microphone, but I didn't bother with this one. So now we can hear how that sounds. I don't know if you heard that off camera. That was Taylor going, wow, that's insane, which is pretty much the reaction I had. So I'm just going to do a quick kind of flip between those two. That's the wave map. That's the pickup. So the pickup sounds like this. The wave map I just made sounds like this. I mean, and that reason alone is why I got really excited about it. It's great. So once you've done that, I'm going to show you what else it can do. So you might see that now this has changed to the TS anti-feedback. If I turn this up, you can see this little waveform appear, and as I adjust it up, it's going to start reducing the resonant peaks of the sound, which is to help with controlling feedback, like an automatic feedback control. So I'm going to just kind of play a chord. I'm going to play an E minor, and then dial it in so you can hear how it changes. So it's taken out some of those resonant peaks, which really helps with controlling feedback. The trouble is, whenever you're trying to EQ something like an acoustic guitar, and you're playing the acoustic guitar, it's very hard. So, if you go into your system config menu, go to the advanced thing, turn the mute hold to record playback, what you can do, if we go back to the front page, we're going to hold that mute button. I'm just going to record some audio into it. We can play it back to adjust the EQ without having to play the guitar. So I'll show you what I mean. Going to dim that down. So now that's playing in the background, I can go in and I can adjust any of the parameters, including the input mix, the input EQ, the blend. I'll show you how it works, right? I'm going to turn it up. So I've decided I want to boost the high end a little bit. I'm going to talk my way through, otherwise you're not going to hear anything. So from this page, if you touch, all of these buttons are they're kind of dials that you can press. If you press any of these, it will take you into the EQ menu. So in here, you've got controls for the main EQ, low, mid, high, the tone shaping, which is what I was just saying about the frequency analyzer part, where you can turn in that automatic anti-feedback control that reduces the resonant peaks. If you've still got a frequency that's causing you problems, you can take that down in the notch filter. You've also got a control in here, it's got some built-in reverb, which I'll come to in a minute. But first of all, let's EQ it using the recording I just made. So there we go. I've set the EQ now. If you go to the input menu here, quite often you can. Some people I know, including me on some guitars, like the low frequency thump that you get from a piezo, but don't like the high end stuff. So what you can do on here, you can select a second source to blend in with your wave map source, and that can either be a dry version of the signal you've already got, or if you're using a guitar with dual source pickups that you can split. For instance, I've got a couple of my guitars are fitted with a K&K Trinity Pro system, which has got bridge transducers plus a microphone. And that comes out on a TRS cable. You can plug that into the stereo input here. It will supply phantom power to the microphone, and then you can EQ both inputs separately and control the blend of them. But for now, let's say I want to go into the dry EQ. I'm going to take all the high end off, and I'm going to take some of the mid-range out. But I'm going to boost the low end to give me a real thump. If I go back to my play, so that's the whole pickup. That's the wave map. I'm happy with the EQ on there. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of reverb, just a kind of about 7% on the plate, just to give it a bit of... So that gives you a kind of a very brief overview of how you can set up a wave map. So I'm quite happy with the sound of that now. I'm going to go back into my, I just want to A/B it, so go back to System Config, turn that back to Bypass. So now we've got our wave map sound. Versus our pickup sound. I mean, I know which one I prefer. So hopefully by now, you're beginning to see why I was so impressed by it when I plugged it in, because that was without me even kind of thinking too much about microphone placement. And then the difference between the pickup sound and the wave map sound is just incredible. So once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go into the wave map and I'm going to save it here. And that's saved as my baseline level. I said that this was a really good preamp as well, and it is. And one of the reasons that I really like all of the things this pedal can do. It's got the DI output, it's also got another output to feed your amp or whatever. You've got a headphone output or another auxiliary output, which could be stereo. You've got stereo effects loop, all of those kind of useful things. One of my favourite things about it, apart from being able to use that kind of recording thing to set the EQ without playing, is that you can set this up for any instrument that you want to play. So for instance, I used it on a gig where I was playing 2 different acoustic guitars and some mandolin. So I set it up in my studio at home on my monitors and I got it sounding really nice, the way I wanted it to sound. Then on the gig, because I knew that there could be tricky bits with the room and everything, you can do this, which is super helpful. If you press the wave map button and you go to move copy, you can select another memory. So let's go up to, say, you've got 32 memory slots in here. We're going to save it in number 32. If you press this little button that looks like a cake in the oven, it bakes the wave map, which means that it will take the wave map that you've created with all of the EQ settings, all of the tone shaping, the notch filters, any reverbs and everything, and it'll transport it to a new wave map. And then that wave map has a completely blank state in terms of EQ. So now, that now is the same as our previous wave map, but if I need to turn down the anti-feedback anymore, I can, but I mean, there's too much now. I've done it too much. But you've got all this control over the EQ and the notch filter and the reverb on it. So you can use it the way I did, which is I kind of keep my master files for my guitars, which I've set up in a studio, taken loads of time over. Then when you get on the gig, you can have a completely separate wave map and you can fiddle with that as much as you like to make it sound good for the gig you're on, without worrying about losing the settings for your one that you've spent ages on at home. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. This thing is brilliant. Oh, it's got a boost button as well, so if you need a solo boost, you can use that. You can set it up with external controllers for extra foot switches, so if you want to scroll between different wave maps, you can do that. You can set it up with a MIDI foot switch, so if you want to have, say you've got a 4-button MIDI foot switch for your 4 different instruments, you can do that and it will instantly switch between them. But yeah, I was blown away by it, and I continue to be. So, as a little test, you might see that we've got 3 other guitars here. I'm going to quickly do the same thing I just did on this guitar. We've got a couple more. Well, we've got one more, the new Taylor Gold Label series with a high-end pickup. This nylon string Alvarez, and then we've got the cheapest guitar we could find in the shop that has a pickup on it. So we'll see how it gets on with all of those. I'm going to try this one now. This is the Alvarez AC70HCE armrest. So there we go. It's a nylon string. It has this this pickup in here with controls for bass, treble, and phase. I'm just going to leave the EQ in the middle, And what we'll do, we're going to switch to a different wave map. So we'll go to number 1, unmute. So here is the guitar. So not a bad pickup, very kind of quacky. If you want your Jerry Reed sound, it's got that. But let's see how it fares with this. So I've got the microphone here. I'll set it up like I did before. You hit the mute button, hit the train button, and just play. So there we go. So let's go and EQ that a little bit, shall we? There we go. So I've EQ'd that a little bit. I think that sounds a lot nicer. The reverb on here is set to be global. Anytime you see one of these little sprocket symbols, you can set various things to be wave map specific or kind of global settings. So I've set the EQ on here. Versus. Now you can hear there's a bit of a volume discrepancy there. So what I can do here, go to the wave map and just adjust the trim on there by a few dB. I'm going to give that a little bit more low end. And I'm happy with that now. I think that sounds... Yeah, get my Jerry Reed licks in, go to my wave map, save a copy of that, and that is my nylon string sound. So hopefully you can see that once you've spent a bit of time with it, it's really quick to get around. You can use it to make any acoustic instrument you've got sound better. I mean, I've tried this on guitars with really high-end, like kind of £400, £500 pickup systems, and also on guitars with pickups that I made myself out of piezo discs that cost me about 70p, and it's fared really well on all of them. And I know they say it's for piezo pickups, but I've also used it with magnetic pickups and it's been fine. I even used it on electric guitar by miking up my amplifier. It didn't work quite the same way as a normal IR would, but it gave my electric guitar the kind of tonality of my amp, which means that, if I've got a gig where I want to use it for maybe 1 or 2 songs, I would happily do that. Anyway, I digress. Let's try another pickup system. This one I'm going to do as quickly as I possibly can. So the next one, and this is one I'm just going to do with minimal talking. I'm just going to do it as quickly as I can. This guitar, I've just done some demos on these. They're quite nice. This is the Gold Label 517E Grand Pacific, one of the new Taylor models. Mahogany back and sides, torrefied Sitka spruce top, and it sounds like this without a wave map. Not a bad sound at all, actually. This is the LR Bags VTC pickup, so it's got the little inbuilt compressor and stuff. Let's see how it gets on with the wave map. Here it comes. I'm just going to save that one. Number 4. This thing's so good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to do an A-B on it now. So this is the wave map. Here's the bypass. I mean, it does the things you want it to do. As an acoustic musician, if you're used to playing acoustic guitars and are frustrated by the sounds you get out of your pickup systems, this is a winner. This is a winner. And I mean, it's not cheap. I think it's £550, but it'll do all of your guitars. And I think that's worth mentioning. Like, if you've got, like me, a relatively, shall we say, extensive collection of guitars, but you don't necessarily want to take them all out and play them live because either, you know, you can't afford a pickup system in there that you think does the guitar justice, or it's, you know, it's got a pickup system that it came with and you go, well, it sounds okay. You know, for your multi-instrumentalist, this thing is just a lifesaver. I think it's just, I don't want to get too excited about it. But this is the last one, a bit of a challenge for it now. This is the cheapest guitar we could find in the shop, which has a pickup system. This is the EastCoast G1CE. As you can see, it's got a little preamp on the top there with volume, bass, middle and treble, which are all set to 0. Let's see how it gets on, shall we? This is what it sounds like. Bit of fizzy, a fizzy piezo. That's what it does. Not my favourite sound in the world. Put it into training mode. Save that wave map. No contest, right? I mean, it's out of tune, but I've literally just taken it out of the box. So I hope that, and that's without me even doing any kind of EQ to it, if I take down some of those resonant peaks, maybe cut the mids a little bit, boost the highs. So there we go. I mean, hopefully that has kind of shown a little brief overview of all the things that you can do with this. As I say, I've been so impressed with it. I've tried it with, let me see, I've tried it with acoustic guitars, archtop guitars with kind of piezo and magnetic pickups, mandolins, banjo, double bass, electric guitar, baritone guitar, something, cavaquinho, I've done it with a cavaquinho. Like, it's done really well on each instrument. So you get a great sound, but then you've also got all the practicalities of all the practical things you would want in a preamp for a live situation. I'm going to be doing some recording. I'm going to be doing a live recording with it later this week. I'm looking forward to doing. There's a lot more detail you can go into. You know, for instance, you can monitor the training. You can listen on the headphone out. You can EQ the input. If you go to the, let me have a quick look in here as well, just to show you the input section. If you've got a dual source pickup, you can set it to be a blend, or you can set it to be a crossover. So if you've got one pickup that you want to use for the low frequencies, one for the high, you can do that, and you can set which half of your stereo input does that. If you want to use it with an external mic, you can, like like those kind of DPA clip-on mics, which I know like a lot of classical guitar players use. You can use one of those as well in conjunction with using your normal pickup. And then if you want to, you can route those things separately out to the soundboard. So you can have your wave map DI sound going out of one output and your microphone going out of the other, or any combination of the above. It's a very, very flexible, very easy to use once you've spent, say an hour with it, just kind of working out where everything is. It's very practical, great sounding piece of kit. I'm super impressed with it, and I've had a lot of fun playing with it. So there we go. The ToneDexter Mark II from Audio Sprockets. I think it's amazing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you've got a collection of expensive or even not expensive acoustic guitars languishing in your house or your studio that you never take out on gigs because of the crappy sounding pickups, this is the answer. And I can, yeah, vouch for that out of personal experience. It's been great. So there we go. All the links, all the specs for everything you've seen in this video down below. It's been a pleasure. I'm Ben, and I will see you next time on Acoustic TV here. No, Acoustic Paradiso here on Andertons TV. Click like and subscribe and all that stuff as well. See you soon.